What is the appropriate age to grieve a loved one? Say your grandmother, your baby who was stillbirth, or who you miscarried. What's the most appropriate way to grieve? Losing my grandmother about a month ago has opened up my eyes and opened up my sort of like sensitive emotions to realize that society expects you to grieve a certain way when someone is a certain age. And I thought that I was going to share this with my audience and with you guys to let you know some of the things that might be insensitive, regardless of whether the person that they are grieving is old or young, really. And I thought that this information would help people grieve, deal with people that have lost people differently, and say the right things to them instead of saying things that might be like more of a trigger to their mental health, or even hurt them in any way. So yeah, I know that I come here every day to talk about my preconception journey, but losing my grandmother sort of like reminded me about some of my clients who miscarried their babies, who suffered a stillbirth, and how the society expected them to just move on because their baby was not just grown enough or didn't grow out. Or especially for people who miscarry, you just feel like, oh, you should be grateful that they didn't even come out and grow. So the society just expects you to move on, and as long as you didn't have your child at a certain age die at a certain age, it's okay for you to try again and just move on, not for you to mourn for so long. I think that was the same thing I experienced with the loss of my grandmother, where a lot of people just felt, how old was she? You just say, oh, she was 92. Oh, that's a celebration of life. Oh, why are you crying now? Oh, you should be excited. Oh, she's this. Oh, some people were just being quite insensitive, but I don't even blame them, because truth be told, I come from the place of empathy. I know that a lot of people don't know better, and I'm an advocate for saying that when you don't know better, you can do better. And that's why I thought about it. Maybe I do this video record and just share with you guys 5 things that you shouldn't say or do to someone who is grieving. It doesn't matter if they are grieving someone who is over 150 years old. It doesn't matter if they are grieving someone who is just a day old or who has never even been to this earth. You know what? There are some things that would still be insensitive. Number one thing you shouldn't do: don't invalidate how they are feeling. Don't try to invalidate their feeling just because at that time you feel, oh, in your mind, yes, these things that happen, we are human beings, we can think about it and say, oh yeah, you should be grateful that, oh, this person died at this age, or this person lived a good life. Or you should also be grateful that, oh, he didn't even give birth to this child and then they would die, that kind of stuff. You always find a way, which is natural, right? It's natural for us to seek the survival skill, which is mostly inherent in most human beings. But a grieving time is the time where emotions have skyrocketed, and you want to be careful with this kind of things that you say. The number 2 thing that you shouldn't say or do to someone who is grieving is trying to stop them from crying. No. I know that sometimes when someone is crying about their loved one, it can feel like the person is a nuisance, or the person is just trying to get attention. You might not just understand, but don't try to stop them from crying. Rather, get them close, hug them, tell them it's going to be okay. You might not just have to say anything, really. Just hug them. Sometimes they just need to be hugged. I remember when my grandmother died, I just wanted a hug. I just wanted someone to hug me and tell me, hey, everything is going to be fine, right? So I just feel like, don't try to stop people from crying. I don't want someone telling me don't cry. Really, don't try to stop me from crying. I remember that the day I heard that I wanted to cry the whole day. I wanted to cry my eye out. That I was just in that very horrible, because when I think about a lot of things, I'm like, how is she even dead? How is she even dead? And then I start crying and like, I hope it's not true. So these things will come. We are human beings. So your job is to try to be there if you want to, but don't try to stop them from crying. And that brings me to my 3rd point. Choose your words carefully. Choose your words carefully. It's a time where, like I said, emotions are everywhere. Yes, grieving someone that is important to you is a very, very, in your mind you're already thinking, am I ever going to see this person? You don't understand how it is until it comes really close. You can hear people die and you're not close to them here and there. Until it comes home, you don't feel it, you don't know. And sometimes it might not even come so close. Sometimes you might even like someone from afar, and you've connected to the person in some. So So sometimes you've connected to someone in some way that just, you feel like you're part of the person's life, and when the person dies, you feel like you've lost someone. So let people grieve the way they want to grieve. Let them grieve who they want to grieve, and don't try to invalidate that grieving time, even with your words. That's why you should be careful of what you are saying. So don't say things like this person was old now. You should even be happy. Instead, say, oh, we're thankful that this person lived a good life. Let's all hope that we get better in terms of grieving and mourning this person. There's some things that if you're not sure of what to say, really it's best to just keep quiet until when the person speaks. Even when the person speaks, you can still ask questions and even say, I hope I'm not saying something so bad. Or so in the place of saying something, some of the things that you can say is to ask how they want to be helped. So you can go close and say, how would you want me to help you? What can I do? Or sometimes you can just not even say anything, really. Maybe I just feel like sometimes you wouldn't even know what to say, but you can ask. You can say, how can I help you? Then you can also remind the person that I would always be here. If you need me, let me know. If you need me to do something for you, remind the person how much you care about them. Remind the person that you understand the emotions. So people usually would connect with the fact that people understand how they're feeling. I remember when my friend said to me, no matter when your grandmom died, you would still hurt. And I could understand that truthfully, it doesn't matter when my grandmother died, I would still feel it. And I could connect with that. And he was empathizing with me and, trying to console me. But he said something that I could resonate. Some of these things are really sensitive. So you have to choose your words. And in the vein where you say something and the person disapprove of it. Sometimes when somebody's grieving, they don't even have strength to argue with you, really. They just are in their grieving time and they just take what you've said and keep it to their hearts and they don't even know how to say anything to you. So they just keep quiet. Maybe if they were not grieving, they could say it to you. But some people have the balls to just say it and say, you know what, this thing you said is quite insensitive. But when you don't know what to say, it's just best to keep quiet. So it's important to choose your words carefully. The fourth thing that you should do is to try to respect their wishes. So when someone loses a loved one, some of them don't want people knowing about the death just yet. They don't want to show it on social media just yet. They don't also want certain things. It can just be anything, really. They don't want you doing it. So it's important that you respect their wishes and make sure that you stick to it. The fifth thing that you shouldn't do when someone is grieving is to visit them without a gift. Trust me, don't go visiting without a gift. Yes, it might be very difficult for you at that time, but this is my take, and I'm not saying you have to stand by it or follow my own rules, but I just believe that even if it's 200 naira oranges or something, don't go visiting without a gift. Get a book, something to encourage them. Get fruits, just go. And because what gifts does to people, it makes them feel loved. Yes, it does. Gift makes people feel loved. So when you go there with a gift, they feel like this one understands me, this one understands. Sometimes even find something that that they like a lot, because for you to go visiting someone, that means you have a certain relationship with them and you know what their needs are. So please do not go visiting without a gift. Please remember to get a gift on your way to visiting someone who recently lost someone. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode where I talked about dealing with grief. And I think I also shared that I recently lost my grandmom. I want to thank you for also watching till this time. This channel is mainly to promote hope and promote the mental health of mothers who are trying to conceive, pregnant and postpartum. Please go ahead and share this video if this video is something that has helped you. Give it a thumbs up, like it if you like the content, and also drop your comments and your thoughts. You can disapprove with what I shared. I also want a dislike if you don't like this video. I like to hear your thoughts, and remember to share it, love it, and go through other of our videos where we've talked about different ways of promoting your mental health in terms of if you are in marriage or if you are trying to conceive. Thank you again for joining me. Until I come your way next time, it's a bye bye from me.